So here we go, I'm painting on the flux, and I'm just going to do the top. I'm going to get each side. As you can see, it's smoking a lot, which means it's way too hot. I mean, it can smoke, but this is too hot. I'm just going to drag it along here. I hope I only have one of these ready to go. There we go, that came out good. I'm going to keep telling you over and over again. Now I'm wiping it on the damp sponge and making sure. See, it's sputtering, and you don't want that. Okay, so now I've done a lot of talking, and probably all my flux has evaporated. So I'm going to put some more flux on here. And you can see that this edge came out really nice. The top looks good. This edge looks good. This edge, it did not flow around the corner. So I'm going to add some more there. Add some here. Add some here. Add some here. So you don't really have to keep dipping. Because this is not like a stiff synthetic brush, it's a little bit more absorbent. And so I don't think I have to keep dipping. And it's soft enough to kind of curve around the edges. So that's why I like those. I think they're made by Crayola. They're cheap. You know, they're not as cheap as a Q-tip, but I always feel like a Q-tip's going to leave little cotton threads or lint on my, I mean, maybe it's not, but it's just whatever's comfortable to you. See, I could record like that, but that's not really how I do it. So you can see I'm touching the solder to the top of my soldering iron. I want to get it pretty thick there so that it flows down both sides. You can see my fan is pulling the smoke away. Nice, that came out good. See, it flowed over the edge on its own. I don't have to do a second side. Let's see if it fixed this. No, it did not fix this. So I'm going to fix it myself. Okay, so let's see if I go like this. If I might not need to put more flux. It's still a little hot. I don't think it should be smoking that much. Needs more flux there. I did so much talking that, especially with the heat, the flux is going to start evaporating pretty quick. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Pull your solder out so that you can keep your hand away. Oops. See, if I touch it to the copper, it gets a more flattened appearance. If I hover over, I'm sure you're sick of me saying that, but if I hover over the edge instead of touching the edge, it seems to get this more rounded appearance, which I like. It's shiny, it's round. I mean, you can see right here, this is nice and shiny, nice and round. That's really what you want the first time you go over it, is something like this. Nice and shiny, nice and round, no seams, no little blackened anything. That came on at the right heat, and I don't have to touch anything up. It went over this edge, it went over this edge, and it filled in this edge right here. Best for taping if I do it at an angle like this, but it's not best for soldering. I like to do it flat so it goes over each edge, and I use gravity to let it pull the solder down around the edges. So I'm going to do it like this, even though I don't like to do it on its side, but I'm going to, just because you'll be able to see what I'm doing better. God, I hope you got that. Okay, because I'm not doing it again. I'll have to make another necklace. I'm not in the mood to make these. They go in phases. I'm in the mood to make videos, to tell you the truth, not necklaces. So that's why I'm making a necklace. Getting interested. Okay, so here we go. Let's finish this puppy up. See, when I do it on its side like that, it might do the top. It'll do two sides, but it won't do all three sides at once. If I stand it up like this, I have a good chance of it doing all three sides at once. Now I gotta finish this side. And I remember the first time I made one of these, you would not believe what it looked like. It was nasty looking. It just looked like a big hunk of chewed up silver bubble gum. So don't fret. Everything takes practice. Don't work on a precious item the first time. Practice, make some practice glass. You just got to be willing to toss a few pieces of glass to learn how to do this. I absolutely plan to make a video all about different soldering irons. Okay, so now I've put a little blob right there, and I've told you why I do that before. That's just going to be for a little dangly part. The blob on top is going to be for the jump ring that the chain's going to go through. So I like to put it parallel on the bottom, perpendicular on the top. Well, that looks pretty bumpy there. I think it needs touching up. Oh, gosh darn it. It looks pretty sloppy. I think I'm not going to do it now, but I would add a little flux and put a rounder bead right here because that looks kind of sloppy. I guess I'll do it. Since I'm going to do it, I might as well tape it. So let's just add a tiny bit of solder and mess with it a little more. I don't realize exactly how I do it until I'm trying to explain. Apparently, what I do, that looks better, huh? Apparently what I do is I bring my solder to the top and I let it flow down to the other side and drip down onto the thing. That way I'm not touching the solder directly to my piece. Okay, so you know what I'm going to say now. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can see what I'm up to next.